So here, if you see, you will have a budget validation option. So which tells you allow with warning or disallow. It's more like a budget control on the project team. So if you're going to give you this, if you're going to give a disallow here, system is not going to allow the project team to even request for material more than the budgeted quantity. So that's how the system is going to validate, and system is not going to allow them at all. So in case if you are going to allow them with the approval, with a separate approval workflow, in that case, system will allow them to go through a workflow which has been pre-configured in the system, which can be pre-configured in the system. Okay, so this is kind of a budget control. So this can be defined in the project level as well. So project to project, it may vary also. You can define that as well. So this is about the project scheduling and the planning part. And moving on to the material management. So it starts from the purchase acquisition. So which comes from the project team. So where system automatically suggests you. So in spite of what is actually required in the project, system is going to suggest the project team. So what material should be needed based on the start date and end date in the schedule which we have imported into the system. So when the project team will provide the start date and end date of the requirement of the material, so system is automatically going to suggest you this material quantity. Okay, so based on the budget, system is automatically going to. So there will not be any manual entering or manual requirement raised by the system by the project team in the system. So in case if you're going to allow the requisition even more than the budget, system is going to highlight you as red throughout your purchase flow when you receive a material until it has been used. System is going to highlight that in some red color. Okay. And if you see here, the system is going to show you what is the budgeted quantity. So for each and every item here, so system is going to show you what is the budgeted quantity. So what's been approved from the project manager so far, and what has been unapproved. It's been created as a requisition, but it's not been approved. And what is the ordered quantity and how much is being received at site. And you will have an option to show you what is the stock on hand, and if it is transferred from project A to project B, so in that case, system is going to show you what is the transfer in and out quantity here. So this is not just available as a fact boxes here. So it will be available as a report. So anytime for a particular period of time, the project manager can take the report and review the report, project progress and project material consumption. So based on the project, so based on the requisition from the project, the purchase team will have a unified screen. So for both the requisition for the material or the resources. So whatever the requisition is, purchase team will have a unified screen as job demand planning. So where you will be able to see for all the projects, the purchase team will be able to see for all the projects what are the requests been created and what is the item which is being created and how much quantity is being requested. So if the purchase team wants to issue an order for the multiple, so this screen will help the purchase team to create orders for the multiple vendors and create the request for quote in case if they are going through a quotation and the quotation comparison process. System will allow you to create multiple RFQs and multiple POs at once. So they just have to type in what kind of a transaction which you're going to offer. So whether it's going to be a direct purchase order or it's going to be a through RFQ. So based on that, system will allow you to select the vendor here. And once you click on the make order from here, system will release, float the quotations to the vendors and float the orders to the vendors. So in case of orders, the system is not going to directly float the orders to the vendors. So wherein there will be a landing page as a purchase order that you will be working on the purchase order, like other taxation part or other charge items. So if there is any charges, transportation charges or unloading, loading, those kind of things can be added in the purchase order, and then it can be created and it can be floated to the vendor. Now, speaking of the quotation, you will have an option in the vendor portal. So as Prakash rightly said before, we have a vendor portal. So that system we will be providing the vendor the access to the portal. So they will be able to log into the portal with the username and password which is given to them, and the RFQs which has been created from the NAVBUILD system. So it's automatically going to reflect into the vendor portal. So vendor can uh, themselves can open the portal and they can view what is being requested from the company. Okay. So what is the item, how much quantity is being requested, and if, in case if you have any terms and conditions specified in the RFQs, so even that vendor will be able to see these terms and conditions. And vendor will have an option to create a quote from here. So whereas it will redirect them to a quotes page where they will be allowed to enter the rate. So there will not be any chances of the vendor to change the quantity or change the spec of the material. Instead, there will be only one option to enter the rate, and if there is any discount percentages, they can enter the discount percentages. So once or in case if they want to add the terms and conditions or comparison sheet, or if they want to attach some attachment for reference or images for of the product or something like that, they will be able to attach that in the portal and they will be submitting the quote. So once the quote has been submitted, so system will automatically sync it back to the NAVBUILD, and the quotes in the purchase quotes will be automatically created in the system. And you will have an option to compare the quotes. So based on the for a request, what all the quotes has been received, you will have an option to compare all the quotes at a single page. So let me try a different quote. Once the quote is being compared, so you will have an option, system will have an option to create as an order. So once the quote is being compared and there will be an approval workflow in the quote comparison. So once the L1 is being selected, so system will have an option to create as a purchase order. So this is the purchase order. So where you will find who is the vendor and what project against the purchase order has been created and what is the document date, and against that what are all the items or how much quantity and what is the unit price. So if the order is being created from the quote, the purchase team will not have an option to change or to modify the rate in the purchase order. So once it's been received, so the site team will have a purchase GRN to be received. So once they will open that and they will receive the material. So once it has been received, automatically these quantities will be updated by the system. Okay. So based on the received quantity, so the site team, speaking about the receiving the quantity, site team will have an option to reject the quantity as well if there is any quality issues or if there is any quantity issues. So based on the rejected quantity, system will have an option to initiate the return order policies. Okay. So based on the received quantity, so accounts team, the finance team will have an option directly to book an invoice. So the three-way bill matching, so that will be done by the system. So system has already the purchase order, the GRN which has been received, and only thing the accounts team will be needing is the physical invoice copy of the vendor. So once if they match the physical invoice copy of the vendor, they will be allowed to release the purchase invoices. So they will be allowed to post the purchase invoices and book their payables. So that is a flow of the material management, like I say, module. And whereas if you want the consumption part of the material, you will have once the material received at site, system will automatically update the stocks and The stock will be maintained as an item ledger entry. So system will maintain all your input and outputs of this stock statement. Okay. So you will have an option. You can you can issue the materials directly to the floor, directly to the laborers, or you can actually issue it to the subcontractors who is working in the site. So you will have an option to subcontractor issue and subcontractor return. So in case if they are going to return the material to the store, it will have an option to return the subcontractor issued item. So based on the issue, so the consumption will be calculated. So system, the site store people or the project team will have option to post the consumption journal. So what is actually consumed at site. Okay. So based on these consumption, so as we saw in your project management and jobs page, system is automatically going to update. System is automatically going to update all these usages. Okay, so you will have a real-time data, real-time reports, so throwing out of the system. So based on the consumption which is being posted from this site team. So now moving on to the resource management, so which is very similar to your material, but it again has a order requisition. So there is a request for the resource, and you will have RFQs, quotes, and finally you will have internal orders and external orders. So internal order is nothing but your piece rate workers, PRW orders, or your company labors. So in case if you're going to use company labors, so in that case, system will need an order to be created. So it is not anything manually we are going to create. So the purchase team or the contracts team is going to create from their requisition, job demand planning automatically. And the external order is nothing but your subcontractor orders. So all your subcontractor orders will come through requisitions, okay, from the site. So again, no orders, either it can be a purchase order or your subcontractor orders. So it neither can be created directly in the system without any requisition from the site. So that is a control on the quantity part. And on the cost part, for the contracts team, the system will actually validate you based on the budget validation that mapped in the jobs. So system will validate the unit cost of each and every item or resources which is specified in the rate analysis. Okay, so system is going to validate the cost level as well. So both the quantity validations and cost validations will be happening before the order is being issued. So once the order has been issued, and you'll be able to see the vendor statistics. So how many orders has been created, how much values of order has been created, how much values of invoices is outstanding for the vendor, how much has been paid, or if there is any refund. So you can track all these information for the vendor, which has been selected here. And you will have option for creating your measurements. So vendor measurements. So you will have option to create both. Just like in your jobs, you will have option to create milestones or progressive billings as well for the vendor. So you will have option to create your measurements, actual measurements at site. So what is the work done quantity, and system is not going to allow you. Again, system is not going to allow you to specify the to enter the work done quantity more than the order quantity, which is being given to the vendor. Okay, so and the work done value system will automatically calculate based on the order unit price which is being issued to the vendor, and the site QS team will have an option to monitor the completion percentage for each and every bill against the work orders. And you will have an option to specify the advance and the retention, and this will be available at the time of order itself. So once we specify the advance and the retention terms in the order, so system is automatically going to calculate 5% or 10% it is. And from here, once the bill is certified, so even we have a control on this part as well, where you can only system can restrict you till if you want to certify a subcontractor bill. In that case, system will go and validate what is the customer running bill which is being created for this particular VOQ item. For this VOQ item, system will go and validate what is the customer running bill quantity is being certified. Or based on that, system will allow you to certify the subcontractor bill. That validations as well you will be having here. So now moving back to the customer bill. So once the subcontractor bill is being